So this definitely is not the video that I thought we would be making today. But I wanted to respond to a report, a story, a conversation about yesterday's Toronto Maple Leafs shutout victory over the Buffalo Sabres. 4-0, shots were 35-32 in favor of Buffalo. But the Maple Leafs did clinch the Atlantic Division with this win. And it was really good for them because, let's be real, the Maple Leafs do not want to play off against either Florida or Tampa Bay in the first round. Now they're getting Ottawa. And look, you can say whether or not that has its own challenges. It definitely will. Brady Tkachuk versus Austin Matthews is going to be a first-round Canadian-American matchup for the ages. But it's a lot different than playing Tampa or Florida. But anyways, let's scroll down and pay attention to this third period empty net goal scored by Toronto. You see the score? 4-0, right? They probably just smoked Buffalo. Wrong. It was tied 0-0 after the first. After the second, it was only 1-0. And then it became 2, 3, and 4-0 in the last 5 minutes of the third. The Austin Matthews empty net is what we are going to pay attention to here. Because if we use the Edge goal visualizer, you can see a bunch of guys that are moving around on the screen. Rasmus Dahlin is the Buffalo Sabre who is at the Buffalo Sabres logo in the center of the ice. Mitch Marner has the puck, escaping the Maple Leafs zone. Obviously, there is no goalie there. And you can see behind Marner, you've got 71 blue and 77 blue. Pay attention to these two guys over here. As Marner continues skating forward, you see him make the pass over, and then the puck goes over the red line. You can see 71 is still chasing down Marner. 77 is just kind of lackadaisically gliding back. And he ends up taking the puck. Okay, he picks it up off the boards, but quickly loses it. Austin Matthews picks it up. He dangles, he shoots, he scores. We can probably try to watch the video itself. Let's just try not to get copywritten over here. So, Austin Matthews is able to get the puck off of the boards here. It's JJ Peterka, who is the guy at the bottom of the screen with the puck at the boards. He ends up fumbling it a little bit. Austin Matthews gives him a little bit of trouble, and then he picks it back up, does his little deke, and he scores. JJ Peterka is a pretty good player, number 77 for Buffalo. Not really in this moment did he display a good amount of skill or work ethic, really. I mean, that back check on the goal itself, you can see him just gliding back so slowly compared to everybody else. But after this goal was scored, I wanted to turn your attention to a tweet made by Drew Chappelle. Now, this is a guy who seems to have been at the game, according to what a bunch of his tweets went out there and said. But he responded to Chad Diminish's okay, I'm gonna pretend that I said that correctly. Chad's final game chart for the Buffalo Sabres and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The game was closer than the score indicated. The Oslin line had another plus expected goal game. Bernard Docker may be the second best D-man on the team right now, with power out. It's encouraging, but not great long term. And then you had Drew who replied this. It looked like Dahlin was absolutely laying into Peterka on the bench after the empty net goal. Like the whole team and coaching staff was in stunned silence listening to it. Did anyone ask about it? I didn't listen to the post-game leaving the rink. TB fans, something wrong with the Sabres. Pulled up on demand to watch it back and I didn't see anything. I wish we would get some confirmation here. But the reason I wanted to dive into this tweet is because of some of the ensuing discourse that we have seen from Sabres fans in response to it. A reply asked, is this actually real? Is there video evidence of this? And then Drew says, all I've seen on video was him snapping a stick on the post and turned towards the bench screaming. But the camera didn't follow him because it was on the Leafs celebration. I was section 313 in the arena, 318, excuse me, and he kept screaming on the bench. He didn't even reach for another stick with 2 minutes and 30 seconds still left. So, around this time, when Austin Matthews scored the empty net goal, seems like Dahlin was very upset, frustrated, breaking his stick, doing all the things, and then by the time things got over to the bench, he might have started laying into JJ Peterka. If this report is to be believed, if we go over into some of the quotes and everything, there are some people going out there and talking about it. Dahlin seems like one of the only Sabres who's done being losers, and some more other things over here too. I bet Dahlin and Raquel get along really well. Yeah, Dahlin is gonna head over to Pittsburgh. Is that really gonna happen here? But anyways, if we dive into this post made on the R Sabres subreddit, it's the same tweet that we had just looked at. Looked like Dahlin was laying into Peterka, yada yada yada. Let's dive into what some of the Sabres fans spoke about in regards to this conversation. Back on maintenance day, Lance and Joe mentioned during a practice that Dahlin went really hard after Anders Bjork because he was dogging it in a practice. Hard enough to the point where Lance and Joe believed the reason Bjork didn't stick around was because of how harshly Dahlin went after him. So even if no one caught this JJ Peterka thing on video, it does sound like something Dahlin would do. Peterka and McLeod were very soft on that goal and didn't even really try, certainly not physically. Peterka gives the puck away in the offensive zone. He passed it right to Toronto. When the Leafs enter our zone, Peterka gets the puck because it got chipped to the blue line. He loses it again and somehow trips Tuck. I'm sure when we trade Peterka, he'll have 9 hits a game like Cousins. It was a nightmare shift from Peterka, so Dahlin, rightfully, was so irate. While I don't want to see things that lead to that reaction, I do like that Dahlin gets fired up enough to go after guys. You can't be in your feelings after 14 playoffless seasons, and Dahlin seems to want to end a streak more than anyone. Hopefully he did yell at Peterka. Our team sucks, and holding people's hands is only going to bury us further. I'm glad Dahlin is pissed. He's our captain, and it would be mind-blowing if he was okay with these results. Good on him. So, this has presented a really interesting perspective on how Buffalo Sabres fans view Dahlin and how they view their team. He was very visibly frustrated. He demolished his stick on the net after the goal. Was it Peterka who tripped up Tuck and let Toronto get the puck on the empty net? So all in all, just a nightmare shift out of JJ Peterka, and one of these things where if the guy absolutely fumbled 3 straight times, first he gives the puck up in the O-zone, leads to the rush against, secondly he just kind of dogs it on the back check, thirdly he picks the puck up again in the defensive zone and trips up his own guy after being shoved off of it, then okay, that's kind of a shift that you deserve to get yelled at for. But for Dahlin to be the guy doing it, it speaks volumes to his own desire to win and what it is that he's capable of throwing out there emotionally and verbally to his teammates. To hear that this might not even be the first time that Dahlin's done something like this, it does kind of get me thinking, if Dahlin was on a different team, if Dahlin was on a better team, how exactly would he respond to that pressure and the results, and how much would he be forced to do stuff like this, to get into his guys, lay into JJ Peterka, to talk all the smack to Anders Bjork, hey, why are you dogging it in practice? Rasmus Dahlin is a gamer, folks, and I'm kind of seeing JT Miller vibes out of him, not gonna lie. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this reported altercation, not even really altercation, but just kind of a moment in the game where Rasmus Dahlin was apparently seen yelling at JJ Peterka and really getting upset at the guy, to the point that all the team and the coaching staff were just kind of watching in stunned silence, at least according to the poster here, Drew Chappelle. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.